hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. Hello, and my name is Girl, also known as Osandra, or The Peculiar Jeweler, or the author of Secret Agent Someone, and plenty of other stories that are rambling around in my brain, including The World of Winsome Horde. Yeah, I am a certified Jill of all trades TM. So you may know me from lots of different places, but right now I am from World Anvil, the awesome website where you can world build and create your own characters, sites, people, places, things, and all things awesome. And I'm reading articles from other cool Anvilites, like you probably, who have written articles for the great leader of their people category of summer camp that just passed in July. So if you are here, thank you so much for showing up. And there is a little redeemable wisp at the bottom of your screen that you will see you can click. And for one wisp, you can ask me to read your article. All you have to do is put in your World Anvil username, and I will find you on this wonderful spreadsheet full of 325 entries and find your article and read it. That is what I've been doing. Now, yes, it's a great leaders of their people. So this is a category that I am judging for summer camp. The deadline is in about a week, and I've only gotten through, let's see how many I've gotten through, 94 articles? 94 out of 325, so that's something. Now, that's quite a bit, admittedly. I would say that it's probably more like 93, and the first 11 were access denied, unfortunately, so I was not able to read those. Then there were 4, it looks like, that they said, please don't read it on stream. I did read them anyway, so technically I did get through those, which was great. I read through those, and they were pretty nice articles, but they did not want me to stream them for whatever reason. But it's totally fine if you think, I have errors, or this isn't a complete article. It's okay, because everybody has errors. Everybody has those stub articles that are incomplete. Everybody wants to add something to their articles. Not every article is perfect, especially during summer camp when we are trying to rush and do 31 articles in 1 month. That's a lot to do, and it's totally understandable if you have errors, grammar, punctuation issues, any kinds of lack of pictures or things you want to add. Doesn't matter. It's okay. We all have it. I have it. A lot of the advice I'm giving, I even have lots of articles that I did not follow that advice because it was so rushed. Summer camp was a blur. The whole month of July just blinked by and it was too late. So yeah, don't worry about that kind of stuff. I'm just reading it. I'm not a harsh judge. I just want to read. Let's see. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Hiisikuningas. I'm sorry. Thank you so much again for joining the chat. I'm sorry that I'm not pronouncing your name properly. It says, hello, Wordy. Thank you for shining light on so many articles. I have my D&D game upcoming in 45 minutes, so I won't be able to follow the full stream, sadly. No problem. It's okay, and I appreciate you dropping by when you can. It's Finnish translating to Goblin King, no worries. Oh, I get it. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So, I believe that you have just, you've just, messaged me on Discord, I believe. If that was you, thank you. And please do redeem the Read My Article, please, so that I can know your username on World Anvil and read your article before the 45 minutes are up. Yes. Yeah, I want to get to your article as soon as possible before you have to jet away. And I do pray that you have a fun time with your D&D session. But please do quickly redeem that article read so that I can read it before you have to leave. Known Adversary has redeemed an article read. Thank you. TaraFaeBelle is here. Hello. Hi, TaraFae. Thank you for joining. Known Adversary says, a nice name to the Goblin King. Thank you. Yeah, that is a nice name. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pronounce some of these names, and that's one of the peeves that I've been noticing with all the articles. I'm like, these are such beautiful either conlang that are created words, created languages, or words that are borrowed from other languages, other beautiful languages. And they are beautiful, in fact. And I do appreciate that in a world, but one of the things that I like is if you tell me how to pronounce it. Because I actually love to learn other languages. I love to learn sign language. I love to learn Spanish. I know some French. So, you know, learning languages is awesome, but it's great to be able to pronounce those words so that you can actually learn the language. So that is one of the things that I've been constantly noting to a lot of the nice beans who have been gracious enough to allow me to read their articles for this challenge. Yes, I see Alain Gislain under the same name than my Twitch. Thank you. All right, so I will read you first. I do know that Known Adversary has redeemed an article read. I will get to yours right after the Goblin King because I don't want him to have to leave before we read his article. So I do pray that you understand why I'm allowing him to take cuts in this particular moment. Thank you for understanding. I will post in the chat now so that everyone can go to the article and read along. Alain Gislain Dragani. There we go, and that is the article link in the chat. And you guys can go check that out because there's probably going to be some links to things that I'm not going to be able to explore because I don't have much time. Already I see something! For one, this map is beautiful. I would love to see if you guys credited the map properly because this is a nice map. I like the colors and the shapes. And this compass is nice as well. The Cauldron of Creation. Yes, Known Adversary also loves the map. That's the first thing I noticed. And it's quite beautiful. The second thing I noticed is that the Goblin King has implemented a sticky sidebar. This is something that I've been talking to you guys about almost every day. As you see, even though the sidebar is very short and the article isn't that long, but it's quite long, longer than the sidebar, the sticky sidebar allows this little section to stay still until you go all the way to the bottom of the page. And that is something that I like to do if I'm not able to extend the sidebar all the way down. Still, I would suggest adding just a little thing to the sidebar, maybe a picture or maybe an article block, just so that it's not this naked part here. But the rest of it being a sticky sidebar is awesome, and I do compliment that. Yes, it's Known Adversary says, how do you do this magic now? There was Dr. Rock, I believe, or somebody that asked me this in another stream, and I took way too long to get back to them, but I did message them earlier this morning and let them know the CSS to add a sticky sidebar to the article. So I will try to send that to you, Known Adversary. And I see your username on World Anvil. If you do want to Discord message me as well, I can message you that as well. Goblin King says, my girlfriend is a CSS wizard. They helped me with the site setup. Awesome. That's always good to know that you have people that are able to help you with CSS and stuff like that. I do also advise, if you are an Anvilite and you are in the World Anvil Discord, there are lots of CSS wizards and other people that can help you out in that Discord. And yes, I'm there as well. So if you have any questions about things like that, be sure to jump into the World Anvil Discord, and they can usually copy and paste something right there, and you can copy and paste it right into your CSS, and voila, it appears, and it's awesome. Unknown Adversaries does say I need to learn the CSS ins and outs. Yes, and also there is a World Anvil Codex that teaches you a lot about it, but it can get complicated, so that's why the World Anvil Discord is advised for support, just in case you are not sure how to navigate things on your own. But anyway, before the Goblin King has to leave, I want to hurry up and read this article. It's quite interesting already. I don't see any crediting to the map, but I'm going to go to the homepage, and maybe that's the world cover. Yes, if it's the world cover, yes, it's accredited right here. Map and Art Adventures of Kirvallen by Zerahar. So there is a link to this person on DeviantArt. Awesome. Great. I love how you credited that. So now we know where you got the map from. Alright, so let's get started. Alain Gislain Dragani. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. Emperor Alain Gislain Frangi. He, him. I know that this is also stemming from another language, so I might not know all of the, phonetics in the language, but I'm going to try. If I do get something wrong, please do correct me in the comments if you'd like to. The Reformer, the first of the Dragani. Alain Gislain Dragani, born in the aristocracy of Kirvallen, had an easy childhood, and no one knew them then knew how remarkable they would end up being. Face Musty is here, good time zone, and they know some Finnish, apparently, which I do not know how to pronounce. Yes, Finnish banter, they say, and they are speaking a language. That is cool. I wish I could join in. Unfortunately, I do not know any Finnish. As the youngest of House Fringi, Elaine's future was often shadowed by the ambitions of their older brothers. Loathing the oligarchical nature of Kirvallen, young Alain would long to explore the worlds around Cauldron of Creation and see how other lands were governed. Alain's status gave him many freedoms. With time, Alain was given permission to travel and view the many young kingdoms and settlements in Bravalon. The young would-be emperor just saw the terrible outcomes of the Hag's March, a near cataclysmal event that had left much of Presidium in shambles. From the torn Presidium, Alain made their way to the crimson deserts of Ashta and to Fanudet, the capital of Kingdom of Meltros, where the faith of Pillar was born just 3 centuries ago. The Epiphany. The true saga of Alain began in Fanudet, where Alain remained until he had grown of age and learned the ways of the Pillar. While in Fanudet, Alain learned some interested prospects who were interested over the current condition of Cauldron of Creation. Emperor Alain is said to have revered the wisdom behind Pillar's laws, especially the strictures where those Pillars' faith were required to take care of those of lower status, as well as those of higher status, to carry their burdens and to ease the burdens of others. With his new fellowship, Alain returned to his home after acquiring much of the faith and wisdom that Fanudet had to offer. Alain had a new quest in his sight, a quest to bring a rightful singular ruler to Kirvallen and to the land surrounding it, a role he saw his father as the perfect man to inherit. Alain set out to accomplish this task through intrigue, bringing all the noble houses together through his subtle words, conversion, and some whisper through blackmail. Wow, so he did have his ways to get around. The beginning of an empire. With Alain's constantly growing influence, both of his older brothers grew weary and felt like their statuses were threatened by the younger. the youngest of the Ferengi. This led to a series of horrifying events that slowly unfolded to the public, where Alain had revealed a plot that his brothers had brewed, a plot of bribes and assassins. With both of the successors of House Ferengi out of the picture as they were exiled, Alain finally managed to unify his own house under a single goal. With the house, rest of the Forex Isles and Feline's Claw would follow. Was it true faith that guided them, or greed to have more stern iron grip over the politics presented in Curvalen? Most of the influential ruling families agreed to begin the local reformation to form Curvalen into the heart of a thriving empire. The Dragani Empire was not built overnight, as Alain took up arms to conquer much of Forex Isles that was still inhabited by primitive tribes of men. This sent a clear message to those upkeeping the traditional Phyrexian way of life to stay far away from the ever-expanding capital. Emperor Dragani. As the founding church slowly began influencing events of the empire, it was time to crown the very first emperor. Contrary to what Alain had tried to persuade and influence other families of, his father was not named the emperor, but Alain himself. Other houses did not in the end believe in House Ferengi after the attempt at Alain's own life, and put their faith on Alain rather than any proxy ruler placed in power in Alain's stead. Publicly, it was unknown if Alain's father approved of this, but as Alain ascended to rule his empire, he was named Dragani, meaning power in Phyrexian, a name that would follow his house and those named emperor long after Alain's rule. So this was a very interesting article. It told a story of how he came up from childhood and all the way until being crowned emperor. So this is very interesting, and thank you so much for sharing this. Then we have the sidebar, which was a highlight. The map was indeed a wondrous highlight. I do like how you credited that as well. The only thing is there were some grammar issues, of course, but that's to be expected. Especially if the language is a different language. If you're trying to translate it from another language to English, sometimes the translation is going to be slightly different. So, of course, that's to be expected, and I totally understand that. It was still very comprehensible. I was able to figure out, what was going on. The only other thing that I would say is there are some, I would like, in addition to pronunciation key, I would like more information of some of these things. Like, what is this Hag's March? And what is Curvalen? We could link to the world, if that's the name of the whole world. I would like to learn more about some of these, people and stuff like that. But I do know some of these articles may be drafts, or they may not have been written yet. So that's totally understandable. But being a new reader of your world, those are some things that stood out that I would like to know more about. But still, I appreciate this article, and I thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I do know you probably have to go soon, so if you are playing in this world, it sounds very interesting. So you guys have a blessed time and a wonderful session with your D&D. Yeah, so we see that they are finished banter in the chat, and it says, no worries, nothing vulgar. Thank you. Let's see. Next, we are going to Known Adversary. Sorry about that. Skipping over you for the first time. Known Adversary, I hope you do understand. But we are heading over to your article now, so I appreciate your patience. This is the annoying thing about these spreadsheets. There we are. Oh, the Goblin King says, it's incredible how strongly this opens my eyes when I read someone else read an article. There's a bit too much of a crunch with information at the beginning, with the need for tooltips, links to other articles. Thank you for going through my article. This gave me lots of thoughts to update it. Yes, thank you. That's my intention, to help to give some, tips and stuff like that. And sometimes it does help to see somebody else read it, or watch somebody else read it, as you corrected yourself. Yes. It is still a very strong article, says Known Adversary. Yes, it is. So yeah, I know that we can also be very self-critical of our own work. But yeah, as other people are reading it, you do notice things. But also, I did still appreciate the article as it was. Yeah, so, but like you said, a new person reading it would probably want to know a bit of more information. And tooltips is something else that I have talks a lot about. I love tooltips if you're able to use them, and I know that you said there are some people who know CSS that can help you out with your world, so they should be able to help you out with tooltips. They are very nice, especially if you don't want to link a whole new article, or you don't have a whole new article. You can just link a little tooltip with a little sentence that tells us the minimal information needing to be known, but it still gives us a little bit of information that we didn't know, so it's quite satisfying to know about it. So yes, thank you so much again for sharing that article. Next, we have Known Adversary with their article, Falleh, Bonestriker. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right as well. Please tell me if I'm not. Falleh, Bonestriker? Oh, Goblin King asks, was there still time to edit the article relating to the judging? No. Well, don't try to edit it yet, because I don't think that the World Anvil people, want you to edit it. But this is just some notes to keep in mind, so that when the editing period is, the no editing period is over, you can go ahead and improve it. But yeah, you don't have to edit it right now. I'm just giving you some tips that maybe you want to add after the judging period is over. But I do appreciate you sharing that article. It was quite an awesome article to read through. Known Adversary says that it is pronounced Falleh. Falleh, Bonestriker. Alrighty. And yes, once again, we see an awesome map up here. What is this map? It's very interesting. I do like world maps. They're very nice. Let me see if there is a credit to the map. I would figure this is the world cover map. So going to the home page, there should be a crediting of the map. I don't see a credit of the map. There's lots in this world. There's general map, and but I don't see credit. Yeah, I don't see credit to the map, but it's fine. I do like the map, and I would love to know more about the map and who created the map. Known Adversary says, still trying to figure out consistent crediting, but I made myself incarnate. Oh, that's great. Oh, okay. You're going to leave, Goblin King? Hopping off at this point. Have an exuberantly enjoyable stream. Oh, have an exuberantly blessed day, Goblin King. Thank you so much for stopping by and letting me read your article. I appreciate it. Yes, so Known Adversary says I put it in author's note. Oh, I see. Okay, great. That's good. At least it's somewhere. I just didn't see it. But yeah. I like to put it in like the footer so that it appears on every page. But yeah, that's okay. That's totally fine. It is credited in your way, your own way. So great. And you made it in incarnate. That's great. Okay. Yeah. So we will go ahead and read it. Let's see. I don't know if they're going to try to show you guys an ad. So I was looking at the thing, trying to figure it out. So I think that if I make the ad show, at the time that I wanted to show, then it won't show you ads at inopportune times. So I'm going to press and see and try this strategy and see if it works. I will be right back, and I'm going to click an ad really quickly. Please let me know if you actually do see the ad. It should only last 1 minute and 30 seconds. So while that ad is going, I will just do some banter and stuff like that. And then when you guys come back, then I will read the article so that I don't get interrupted mid-article with an ad. Sound good? All right. I'll be right back. All right, an ad is presumably playing or about to play, and I wonder if I am doing it correctly. All right, while this ad is playing, for those of you who are subscribing, you should probably not see an ad. And if you do, please let me know. But if you do, then you can't let me know because you didn't hear what I just said. Anyway, I don't know. Those of you who are watching in the future do not see an ad. So we can play a game. Last time I did a staring contest. So let's see if we could do another staring contest. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ah! That ceiling fan gets me every time. All right, now let us see if we can play rock, paper, scissors. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. All right. And Basemasty says, I won the staring contest, I presume. So you did not get an ad. All right. Great, great, great. And there are 20 seconds left for those who are watching the ads. Presumably, those who are watching the ad have 13 seconds left. And I wonder if this is going to work or if this is not going to work. Basemasty, I would like to know, are you a subscriber? Just for my own notes. If you are, oh, the ads are done. Great, great, great. You are not a subscriber, but you did not see the ad, and I manually pressed it. That is weird. Like I said, I am new to this. I'm new to really streaming on Twitch. You can also see on the chat who is subbed. Yes, so I do see little things. I do see Known Adversary has a crown, but it says Prime Gaming. I don't know if that means they're subscribed or not. I don't see anybody who's subscribed in the chat right now present. Also, I'm just trying to make sure there's an icon left to the name. That is not a sub thing. Yes, the Prime Gaming is not a sub thing. I don't know, because I'm new to this, I don't remember what it will show if you're subscribed. I think it was one of those wisp things that I put. Yes, no anniversary says you're not subscribed to this channel right now. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just trying to learn and grow. So I literally started streaming during July for summer camp, and well, last year I did it like once or twice, and nobody could really join, and I was so not coordinated. This year I just said I'm gonna jump into streaming Twitch and see what happens, and I've ended up becoming affiliate already, so I'm thankful to everybody who's following. And yeah, I'm still learning stuff. So yeah, I do know Vesmasi says sub icons are specific to the stream. Yes, they are. And I do know that I specified a thing for it to be what you, what icon is next to you if you are a subscriber. But I just wanted to make sure that everything was working properly because I didn't see anybody with that. Vesmasi has a go. Oh, bye. Thank you for joining, Vesmasi. I appreciate you stopping in. No anniversary says you're doing great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But let's get into No Anniversary's article because, yeah. Falleh, Bonestriker. Spine Splitter, aka Spine Splitter. Falleh did not start a great leader or even a valued member of Scurry. Okay. Scurry? Not sure. It's a settlement. Scurry. I like how there's a pronunciation there. That is one of the things that I like. And I like how there's a link to that because I didn't know what Scurry was. So, Falleh did not start a great leader or even a valued member of Scurry, but in her lifetime she became a living legend of the city. Interesting. Originally the daughter of a nomadic warlord in the northern Teeth Mountains, and I see that's bolded, so I'm figuring there's probably an article for that, but it's probably not done yet. Falleh had been captured when the Haroon Mining Union defeated her father's raiding party in Scurry. Though the thought was first to ransom the Goliath teen, to force her father to stop sending raiding parties, the Union was surprised to find the warlord had no attachments for a daughter weak enough to get caught alive. Left with the decision to either kill her or indenture her to pay for the losses her father generated on his raids, the Union pragmatically decided that she would be more useful as a low-level miner. The first few years of Falleh's servitude were bleak. She hated being tied down to Scurry, and she hated having to mine rocks. I think that's an extra D that's not needed. Day after day. This changed, however, when the Union was faced with a problem. Falleh's father had not slowed down in his raiding, and while the other nomads of these steppes had learned to work with Scurry, which was building in notoriety, her father had redoubled his efforts. The last straw for the Union came shortly after a force of 7,000 Jurai troops came across sea and plains to gain control of the Scurry assets. The army decimated quite a few of the nomadic bands of the Huron steppes, and then proceeded to the city before capturing 4 of the mines that had been started outside of the Chasm area and the surrounding settlement. Their forces were swift and brutal in their attempts to snuff out resistance in those mines, and the result was horrific. For 12 weeks, the Jurai troops held the Scurry outskirts and menaced the rest of the city. They worked the miners in those auxiliary mines to the bone, but while they did, Falleh proposed a plan to one of the Union overseers. Falleh knew the mines like the back of her hand because she had been forced to work in every one of them. Her plan to infiltrate with a small force of miners and undermine the troops long enough for more miners to break the troops above ground was approved. In the dead of night, Falleh's small crew stole into the auxiliary mines, and with the help of the miners there and the hazards of the environment, they killed 84 of the troops in the mines before the reinforcements even arrived up top. Falleh, using a pick that she would later call the Spine Splitter, killed over 100 Jurai before the battle was done, and saved 6 miners that had nearly been overwhelmed. It was her heroism and guerrilla-style tactics learned from her raiding days that won her the respect of the Huron Mining Union and ended her debt. She could have settled with that, but Falleh was determined to cement her place in Scurry. Following the retreat of the Jurai, Falleh defeated her father in a one-on-one fatal combat to take control of her nomadic band, and then brought them into the strength of the Huron Steppes bands and Scurry. At that time, she became a consultant for the security branch of the mines and proposed the creation of a militia. There would be other attempts to take their mines. Of that, Falleh had no doubts. Finally, by the time the Battle of Shamrest occurred, Falleh had become the security militia leader of the Huron Mining Union and won the battle for the Union. So yes, very interesting character and very determined character. She was very skilled in battle as well. Slate eyes, no hair. Interesting. Pewter skin tone. She's 6 feet and 10 inches, weighs 302 pounds. So that is an interesting character. It did say the Goliath, so she's quite tall. I do appreciate this article. It told a detailed story. There were a couple of errors, and there were some things that I would love to know more about. But as I know that some of these articles probably aren't done yet, and some of the links probably, you know, aren't completed yet, but that's fine. A small tooltip may be useful to tell us about what some of these things are. And also adding some article blocks to the sidebar would help us to extend that sidebar down a bit so that it can be even with the contents of the page. Other than that, yeah, links to things that I want to know more about. And yeah, that would probably be it. If I know there's not a character portrait, but this description is good. If there could be a more detailed description as well, that would be nice. But yeah, other than that, very interesting article. And it told a complete story. Thank you so much for sharing this article, Known Adversary. All right. Does anybody else have an article they would like me to read? If you have an article you would like me to read, please do use the little wisps to redeem a Read My Article, please. And I shall go over your article. Ah, TaraFaeBelle does have her article. Great. Non-Anniversary says, thank you. Really need to work on it and make it a character portrait. Yes, no problems and no rush on that. It was a very comprehensive article on its own as well, so I do appreciate that, you sharing that. Yep, those are just some tips of mine for if you are working on editing it, but there's no worries about it at all. It was a very nice article on its own to read. Next we have Astirrah High School's principal. I believe that's how it's pronounced. If not, please let me know. Astirrah High School's principal. This is an interesting world cover. It looks like some sort of maze. It may be a map, maybe to the high school. Not sure. Observation log of Mimi Lakes, Janine Peta, Ash Principal. Prey month, the 36th year 50 of the century of the nymphs, 26th cycle. So this is a date here in which obviously shows that this world has a complicated, complex calendar system that we do not use, but that is great world building. Janine Peta, or Peta, is the school principal of Astirrah High School, and there's a link to it, in the outer suburbs of Mid-City, and there's a link to that. Even though the suburb is not high on the social ladder, the school grounds are looked after as if they were. Now, one of the things I will note now here before we go on is that see how this one doesn't have a sidebar. So as I said, there's a way to override the sidebar just in case, you know, there's nothing in the sidebar. I've seen some articles where there's absolutely nothing in the sidebar. And what you could do is either just hide the sidebar altogether or add something to the sidebar so that it's not just a naked space on the page that's taking up room but has nothing there. But as we see, Tara has eliminated her sidebar altogether and she has the words go straight across the page, so there's no blank spots. Peta like Peter. Yes, Peta. Janine Peta. Okay, got it. Janine Peta is a human female on the shorter side. She has streaks of gray between her dark brown hair. She has glasses for reading, keeping them on her with a necklace chain around her neck. I haven't really talked to many humans before, or at least not many have kept my attention for so long. Mrs. Peta has. She seems nice enough, and it didn't feel odd talking to her, but I don't think she'd like it if I rearranged her bookshelves. She was fun enough that I didn't have to, though. This is interesting already. We see that the person who is telling us the story is a person in world. So it says, observation log of knowledge liaison. Knowledge liaison officers. So KLO is, so this is a knowledge officer, Mimi Lakes, I guess, who is talking about the principal. Interesting. Interview section. I like interviews. I like them. Ooh, this is cool. Mimi. Hey, is it on? I hope it's on. I'm not gone. No, I'm not gonna do this again. Then Mimi says, I'm not going to do this again. Mrs. Peta says, I'm sure it's fine. Chatswood, there does seem to be a light on. Oh, I'm sure it's fine, Chatswood. There does seem to be a light on. Mimi says, you're wrapped. So what's your name, age, and personal history? Miss Peta says, I am Mrs. Janine Peter, and I am the principal of Astirrah High School. I have been the principal since my father handled middle school and have been teaching and running the school a longer time than you look aged. Let's see. Cedra Honnet is here. Good morning, lovely people. Cedra Honnet says, good morning, Cedra Honnet. TaraFaeBelle says, I actually spoke this section into an app, so the mistakes are real. Oh, no. So you said, is it on? I hope it's on. I'm not going to do this again. That was real. Oh, man. All right. That's interesting. A little tidbit of information. Great. So I see that there are some grammar issues with this, and it's understandable if you're using a text-to-speech app. Sometimes they do not get those punctuations correctly. So yeah, some of it I'm like, oh, okay, I get how it's supposed to be said. But we might want to go back through this a bit and like add some commas and stuff like that. So let's see. Oh, really? How old do I look? Says Mimi. And Miss Peta says, foo-foo, well, I'd say you look about 20. And then Mimi says, you are old. Human tan. Peta says, haha, I suppose you could say that. Is your age something you discuss with others? And Mimi says, other than work, I don't think anyone has asked me. But with that being like asking water how old it is, like the fountain out front, how long have you had that? And Miss Peta says, oh, the fountain was something my father had always wanted but was unable to get during his time here. Therefore, I decided to make the fountain in the center of the school's courtyard. Then Mimi says, does that mean you didn't want it? And Miss Peta says, yeah, that just means he was the first wanted. And Mimi says, so do you want it? And Miss Peta says, I have it and my students have it. So Mimi says, who is your favorite student? And Miss Peta says, I don't have a favorite student. I do, however, have a favorite attitude. And Mimi says, is your favorite student the one with your favorite attitude? And Miss Peta says, maybe for that moment. But is there anyone who keeps the same attitude at all times? We want the progress towards that attitude. Mimi says, progress? That's what my supervisor talks about. And Miss Peta says, well, they are in a way some sort of teacher or mentor to you. I figure it means mentor to you. So they do look forward to seeing you progress well. Such as when you see a blossom bloom. That's progress that someone is looking forward to. Mimi says, I guess. And Miss Peta says, what are you looking forward to? So the end of that, I guess that was the end of the interview. Interesting format. Cafeteria. One way to judge a school's management is by the management of their food. The cafeteria backs onto the school kitchens, so dinners and full takeaway meals are much loved options at the end of the school year festivals. Note, I must come back here for this. There are set prices for snacks and lunch orders, but the principal says that for kids who are struggling, they arrange different setup for them. Arranged at the pre-entry interviews, or after an interview later if the circumstances change or the guardians and students decide to trust the school when they previously didn't. The setup might be a payment plan or that the student comes in early and helps make breakfast or cleans up after breakfast for the staff. They also get to help eat the breakfast. They have a lot of healthy snacks, like the crisps are made from different vegetables, not just potato. And there's a lot of frozen fruit. Sandwiches have more meat and salad than bread. They have a bunch of different nut bars and other nutrient bars. They care about allergies too, with certain bench spaces and set of cookware in the kitchen that cannot touch certain allergens. That sounds hard. As a person with allergies, and my little sister has allergies too, I do appreciate these efforts. Concluding remarks. Mrs. Janine Peta is the school principal of Astirrah High School. She keeps her school looking pretty, regardless of what the surrounding area looks like. She likes her students eating enough food. So at the end, there's a conversation from different people. Tagrin, it seems, don't just paste the whole transcript. Edit out your weird noises at least. And then Mimi says, "But you did it for me." And then Tagrin says, "No, I just put it through an app to get the transcript, and then added each of your names to where you spoke." And then Mimi says, "Sounds good enough for me." Supervisor feedback says, "Although you were tasked to report on Atala High School's principal, the report itself wasn't too bad. More on the character of the principal, how she interacts with the teachers at the school, or the process in hiring them, and the rest of the school's management, not just the cafeteria. I appreciate you listening to my asks for 3 sentences for the conclusion. It better be if they were not so short, however. Improvement is improvement. Editing your interview's transcript would be wise, at least the wrong word choices and grammar. As it is part of your observational log, you are not required to delete any section." And then there's some council notes. So that's cool. And I like how it's so meta. So that's cool. And it shows, like I was saying, it does need some grammar cleanup and punctuations. But the cool thing about it is that that was part of the story. That even her classmates were saying, "You're not supposed to paste the whole transcript," and her supervisor gave her that feedback that I just gave you. So that was cool. It brings the story full circle, and it lets us know that if there are some errors in it, it's Mimi's fault. So that's a nice addition. I like that interesting thing to the world. And even how the supervisor wanted more information than just the cafeteria, maybe how the principal interacts with the teachers and stuff like that. So that's just such a nice concept. That's a unique thing that you did. Because, yeah, I was wanting more information about the principal myself, and I was like, wow, I was focusing on certain things. But yes, as No Anniversary says, I like your use of a conversation to give characterization to your person. Which is true. Colonel says, quick drop in to say hello. Hello, Colonel. Thank you for dropping in really quick to say hello. I appreciate you dropping by. Yes. So, yeah, that totally just, yeah, that's very interesting, Tara. Thank you for sharing this article. I don't think I've seen something like that before. So, all of the things that we would want to know more about and stuff like that, we're blaming it on Mimi. Which shows us a lot about your world, a lot about your characters, and it's very interesting. I appreciate you sharing this article. Thank you so much. That was a fun one to read. Indeed. If anybody else has an article they would like me to read, please do redeem a Read My Article, please. With one wisp. It's only one wisp, and it will help me to be able to keep track of you guys in the chat and which articles you would like me to read. If not, I might want to cut the session a bit short today because I do have some things to do. But please do know that I will be back. Well, I plan to be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is in about 11 hours. And also, again on Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and again on Friday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time again. I'm going to try to get through as many of these as I can, and I thank you guys for joining me, and thank you guys for sharing your articles and allowing me to read through them. Thank you guys so much for everything, and I think that's going to be it for this session. I do see that I think I'm going to test out something and do a raid, which I have never done a raid before. And I do see RPG Dinosaur Bob is streaming right now. So I wonder if I can raid him because he raided me before. So let's see if we can go on a raid. If you guys would like to stick around for the raid, then that would be great. If not, I understand. But I'm going to try my hand at a raid. Thank you guys so much once again. God bless and have an awesome, wonderful day. I appreciate you guys joining me. And we are going to try to raid RPG Dinosaur Bob, and I hope this works. All right, have a blessed one, everybody.